What's going on, everybody, and welcome. You are watching the Waypoint Podcast. My name is Chris, a.k.a. Rumble Pack 92, and today we are talking about the Halo Infinite Tech Preview Flight number 2, 2 weeks long, 3 people on this panel. This shit is going to be awesome. We played a whole lot of Halo over the last 2 weekends, and we are here to tell you about it. Joining me today, I was going to say, I don't know what the layout looks like. We've got my boy, is Perchance.
Bruh, Grapple Gang, Grapple Jacks all night.
Grapple Gang, I love it.
Yes.
Dude,
That's
I
incredible.
cannot believe the weekend we just had.
Or Chase Cutter. I'm so sorry. I keep
You're
forgetting.
good,
I'm trying to get away from usernames. Of course. Up here on my screen in the corner, we got the one and only Alec Bobco.
Cyan Tsunami Squad.
Oh, yes, Tsunami.
The Cyan Tsunami.
And fresh off of playing every Halo ever on twitch.tv/Jim Tasty, it's Jim Tasty.
What's up? Warthogs only. No
Warthogs
guns.
No guns. Just bumper cars.
Yo, 1v1 me on Blood Gold. Warthogs only.
Oh, man.
I love that so much. Boys, I'm real excited to talk to you about this today. Of course, like I said, we played the Halo Infinite Tech Preview Flight. It was 2 weekends, Monday, Saturday, Sunday, and the last weekend of September and the first weekend of October of 2021. For all 3 of those, or all 6 of those days, technically, they had matchmaking PvP open for select hours to try and stress test their servers, and we played a lot of it. A lot of it. I think I played every single one of them, and doing like some quick math. It was about 8 hours a day. What's 8 times 6?
48.
48 hours of it.
I think my final
give
game clock
or
was,
take a couple hours.
I think my final game time was 24 hours because I didn't play all that
Still
last
impressive.
one.
Still impressive. So I wanted to start it before we actually get into the talk about Halo Infinite itself. I want to hear about your guys' previous, like, past experience with Halo. Like what have you played? What have you played, like, going into Halo Infinite? Alec, why don't you kick it off on me?
Yeah, so I actually got my first Xbox experience was with Halo, and it was Halo and NCAA football. One of my friends, he brought it over, and he's it was just one of those things, like, it just clicked instantly because we didn't have any online, so we just played all local multiplayer stuff.
Absolutely.
And it was a blast. And then eventually my parents, they got me a used Xbox with Halo and Halo 2. So I played through both of those campaigns and fell in love instantly. And here I am, end of Halo 2, thinking, like, you get that cutscene of finish this fight, and I'm getting hyped for, like, this epic final level, and then credits.
Yeah.
And I never had a 360, so I still have not played anything past Halo 2.
Still has not finished the fight.
Wow.
We need
So
to fix that, bro.
Yeah.
I will after Metroid Dread. I got a gap between then and Guardians of the Galaxy, so I got time.
Fair.
But
yeah.
I have played a little bit of Master Chief Collection multiplayer with some of the guys here, and that's basically been my only Halo experience up until this flight, because I didn't get into the last one. So yeah.
Cool. What about you, Chance? What's your prior experience with Halo?
I mean, I've played all of them I guess not at lunch. So growing up religious, my mom didn't believe in video games. So my sister, 7 years older than me, had a boyfriend. That boyfriend saved my life. Taught me so many things. One of those things, the gospel that is Halo Combat Evolved. So would play over there many times, go over to friend's house, play. And I think it was like a year before Halo 3 came out, I saved up all my pennies, got a 360, and I was like, yo, Mom, can I please get Halo? And this woman This woman was like, if you're going to get this rated M game, I'm making you sign a contract saying you will never ask for another rated M game until you are 18. And
That's incredible.
dude, I did it. And I was like, all right, but this includes every other Halo. And she's like, fine. So then Halo 3, I remember taking off 2 days for school to beat that thing. Only needed one.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's when you go back through on Legendary. Okay, you played again, yeah.
I think Halo 2's campaign, I probably have played the most, but Halo 3 is still. And then, I mean, Reach. We all have experiences past that, but the only game I haven't played is the Dave and Buster's one that I didn't realize was a real thing until you and Bret were talking about it.
Well, what a perfect segue, because I'm sure Bret will talk about the Dave and Buster's game, and I'm also suspecting that Bret's experience with Halo is very similar to my own. Bret, tell me about it.
Yeah, so for me, I've never owned an original Xbox, so my early Halo
I take back
experiences,
my last statement. Okay.
my early experiences with the first two Halos were like my next door neighbor had Halo 1 and 2, so always trying to go over to his house and play some Halo. I remember the first time I saw a 4 Xbox LAN setup when I was like 8, and I was like, I was like used to the N64, like 4 players, and I'm like, wait, 4 times this? Capture the flag on these massive maps back in the day. Yeah, and then in like 2008, I had a Wii, and then that's also when I was a freshman in high school, and all my friends had Xboxes, and I was like, okay, like I gotta kind of get with the program, I guess. So I bought a 360, and then I had 2 choices. I was either gonna get Gears of War 2 or Halo 3, and even though Halo 3 was older, I still had some cachet with the series previously, so I was like, I'm gonna get Halo 3, and yeah, I didn't even have live for like half a year, and I was just playing the campaign and local multiplayer.
Yeah, dude.
And it still was a mind blowing experience. And yeah, been with the series ever since. Played all of them day one, skipping school for like Reach and stuff. So yeah, big Halo fan.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I love to hear. It's a weirdly ubiquitous thing to hear from all of you too, that you all knew somebody else that had Halo, and that was how you kind of got into it. Like that's a story I feel like I hear all the time too, and it's such a weirdly almost universal thing. Like everybody knew somebody. And I just like might not have had an Xbox, but somebody did.
I think it's because we were also young and it was a rated M game. All of our parents were like, "No, dude."
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
like I don't think because we were like 8 when it came out.
Yeah.
So on that note, my own experience, and I'll do my best to keep this brief, is both my experience with Halo itself and just the Xbox in general are kind of the same thing, really, because of course Combat Evolved was a launch title for the original Xbox. Now I also grew up religious. My father is a pastor who is also a gamer, and he's big like the kind of guy that wants to have like whatever the newest thing is. He's got to have the best and brightest. He orders the new iPhone every year. Like he always had to whatever the strongest console is at the time, the most powerful one. That's the one he wants to own. And when I was growing up, we're a little poor. And so it was always like we have one console in the house, and that's kind of it. And it started out actually like we had the N64, and then the Dreamcast came out. We traded in the N64 to get the Dreamcast, but then we traded in the Dreamcast to pick up an Xbox. Day one. Technically, my father was overseas at the time. Because of course, this was 2001. Not too long after 9/11. So we actually went and picked it up like on release day, and then mailed it to my dad. And then when he came back a couple months later, I'm not even joking. Like he got home, he's like, "Hey, it's good to see you." And then my dad was like, "I've got to show you this game." It's like you have to see this game. That was awesome. Halo. And
I'm
so
fresh back for more, but hold on a second. I need to show you.
Wait a minute. It was like on the car ride back from the airport. He's like, "I'm going to show you. We're going to plug this thing in when we get home. Like, you have to see this thing." And so it was like, well, not technically day one. I mean, it's still I consider myself day one because we did pick it up on release day. But I played that. Of course, Xbox Live wasn't a thing at the time. Not until shortly before Halo 2. My father was actually a beta tester for Xbox Live. We had like
Oh
a
yeah,
hat and a
dude.
T-shirt and stuff.
That's
And so
really cool.
the Pac-Man gamer tag has actually been around as long as Xbox Live, which is hilarious. That was
That
the
is
tag I
so
used
cool.
until I had my own Xbox. Um, and so yeah, since then I have played almost every single Halo game, and the last bit is might surprise some of you once we get into it. But yeah, I played Halo 1 at launch, had the lands, that fantastic experience of not being able to play online, so we'd lug our Xboxes to our friend's house and do all that. Played Halo 2 on live at the birth of Xbox Live. 3, of course, was a day one. My parents got me the Legendary Edition for like my 15th birthday. I still have the big
Nice.
helmet and stuff. Trying to figure out
Yeah.
where it goes in the display, but definitely own it. Halo Reach, of course, another day one. 4, I was also super into. I picked up a limited edition of that. I played the hell out of 4. I think it's a severely underrated game in the series. I haven't played Halo 5 at all.
Really?
Never touched it.
What?
Yeah.
If you had to skip one, I guess that's the one to skip.
I thought you were gonna say
Yeah.
ODST for some reason.
Yeah, no, I did play. I actually played ODST later. I think I just that one kind of passed me by for whatever reason. Like I didn't play that one at launch, but I did play it a few months down the road. Um, but 5, the thing was like the PS4 happened, right? All the stuff went down at that one E3. I didn't, and me and my dad were not feeling the Xbox One at launch,
Mhm.
and there's that sort of thing where it's like all of my family and friends all like jumped ship over to PS4 for that generation, and it's like, well, I want to play games with my dad, my uncle, and my brother. They're all getting PS4s. Like I'm gonna go do that. We went and played Destiny there, and there for a long time there really wasn't anything that I wanted on the Xbox One. I didn't feel like I had a reason to go pick it up outside of Halo, and it killed me not to go get Halo. But then like some of the campaign reviews came out and stuff, and I was like, I'll play it eventually, and I'm gonna try and play it before Infinite comes out. But just to say I've played it, I'm not all that excited about it. Multiplayer is cool apparently. Um, but yeah, I missed Halo, and I missed Halo 5 entirely, and I'm back on board with the series consoles. I think they're great, and I'm hoping to land a Series S soon. Um, but yeah, outside of that, I've played them all. I've been a day one Halo fan for as long as I can remember now. I mean, it's kind of wild to think about how long it's been a part of my life, and I'm a huge fan. And it's one of those games too where every few months you get that Twitter trend of be like, what are the games that made you a gamer or whatever. And Halo's always near the top of my list for sure. Like every time it's ubiquitous with my gaming trajectory, you know.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
let's go. So leading to that, that's the old out with the old, in with the new, right? We're talking about Halo Infinite.
Ooh.
I realized I jumped the ship a little bit on my run of show. Now was the point where I was going to ask how much we played. I played the entire thing. I played all 48 hours of it. I think your guys' mileage may vary though. How much of it did you play, Brett? Do you think?
So there's 4 total sessions. I
Yeah,
think I played 2 each week, so probably I think I did both evening sessions both times.
There's also
nice.
Friday nights too. Yeah.
There were Friday
Right.
nights. Actually,
Yeah,
Friday I think had both of them. Friday had
Yeah.
afternoon and evenings. So there
Okay.
were 2,
6
6,
each
8,
weekend.
2, yeah,
Yeah. So both evening sessions, both weeks.
nice. Alec, I think you said it earlier, but go ahead and repeat it.
Yeah, I couldn't play the Friday afternoon ones just because I was at work. But I played pretty much the Friday evenings, Saturday evenings, and then Sunday evenings, and could pop in a little bit on the afternoon ones on the weekends.
Shit, now that you mention it, I missed the second Friday one. Like the first the week 2 Friday afternoon session. I missed that one. I was working like a 12-hour shift. Damn, I didn't play all 48 hours of it.
Mhm.
42, I guess. Chance, what about you, man?
So close.
Pretty similar to Alec, actually. I wasn't able to make it till the last Saturdays. I had a show to go to, but besides that, I played every evening, and then in the afternoons, if I could make it. It usually was only like half of the flight in the afternoons, but
Yeah.
every evening,
So,
I would say
uh,
24 hours.
that's a lot of Halo in a very short amount of
about
time.
yeah.
It's a whole lot of games. So, I wanna get your general impressions, not on the entire thing, I'm gonna segment it a little bit. So first off, we're gonna focus on week one, which focused on the 4v4 classic arena type games. Like what are your or just general thoughts and impressions on that, how it felt, how it looked, how it played, what you liked, what you didn't. Hit me with it, Brett.
I loved it, dude. So far the map designs seem very strong. Halo 5 had a lot of good maps, but I mean, this just feels like on a whole nother level.
Mhm.
Akin to like classic Halo 2 and 3. So that was very exciting to me just because maps can make or break uh, a multiplayer game. And I mean, we
Mhm.
only got a handful of them, so we're not getting the full suite, so there's still that to be decided. But I really like the map design, so that was a big plus for me coming out of the flight.
Mhm. Chance, what about you, man?
It was a little I had been playing a lot of Reach leading up to this and Splitgate, so it was a little jarring to get like used to the controls. But after like I would say like the first hour or two, I really started to be like, okay, I've got my feet under me. Let's figure out what this is all about. And I
A
was very,
vast
very
difference in like game speed in terms of
yes.
like Reach versus an Infinite 2. Infinite's much faster.
For sure. And I definitely prefer Infinite more than Reach. And
Mhm.
I mean, like Brett already nailed it. Like it is just those maps are so tight, and you like I was constantly finding like new strategies or just like watching you play and seeing like the way that you would route through an area on like Cyclone. It's like, oh shit, I've been going this other way. And that anyway, totally in love with the small
Yeah.
multiplayer. And also wasn't too bad to single queue in. I was worried there was a couple times where I was playing by myself. I was worried it was going to be not the best, but it was like they were I don't know if they have skill-based matchmaking yet, but it
They
felt like
did.
I was. Oh, really? Because I was going
Mhm.
to say it felt like it was against people that were my same, whatever you want to call it, skill level.
Yeah, and I felt like the first couple rounds you'd play on like those Fridays, I definitely noticed because I kind of shit on some kids in those first like 2 or 3 games I played. Like I was like, oh no, it doesn't know where to place me yet. Alec, what about you, man? General thoughts on the
Yeah,
arena?
I loved it. Kind of go along with what both Brett and Chance said. The maps, like as somebody who hasn't played since Halo 2, like it felt just like that, but just modernized in the best way possible.
Mhm.
Um, I, for one thing, I've been trying to do more keyboard mouse controls, but I looked at that keyboard bindings and I'm like, this just does not make any sense to me, and quickly switched right back to the controller. So, and it felt great. So,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, I mean, I said this during one of your streams, but this I equated it to like how when Apex came out and that like felt like it revolutionized the movement in games. It's like I feel like Halo
Mhm.
Infinite is going to be that next step.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that too. So I'd have to agree with all three of you where it's some of the strongest map design I think I've seen in the entire Halo series. Like just and again, we haven't seen
Recharge.
all of it yet,
Mm.
so it could once we get the full picture of it, maybe that'll change. But I mean those I think it's a total of 4 maps that we got in arena are absolutely excellent. Yeah, Recharge is my personal favorite. I love a good asymmetrical Halo map. Um, Behemoth, I think, was also kind of
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
surprise to me too. Just I'm not usually big on like the more open symmetrical maps like that, but there's something about it that just really clicked. The aesthetic of it all of Behemoth in particular is so classic Halo, like down to the very inch of it. You get like the more like Bungie era Forerunner designs and just the way the weapons and everything are laid out. I agree with you that it all like the movement in particular, it's really tight and feels good. And I think the word of the day, just as far as like movement in Infinite, is momentum because moving around in
Mm.
that game is unbelievable. The slide feels excellent. You can use the slide to do some cool things like curb slides and drop slides and that sort of thing. And then you combine that with just the flow of the maps as they are, and then things like the repulsor and the grapple shot, and then just moving around a Halo map has never felt so fun. Like it this might sound weird to say, but I'm a big Smash Brothers Melee player, and movement is what makes or break a Smash game for a lot of people, and I'm one of those people. And just the way that it felt just kind of reminded me of Smash Brothers Melee, and that there's so much room for player expression just in the way that you move. Like
Mhm.
two people could address the map in two completely different ways, and it's such a cool, unique thing to see. Whereas I feel like more recent Halo maps have kind of driven you like, here's your lanes, like go through those and that sort of thing. This one, it feels more like a sandbox where they said, here's all of these cool things you can do, go have fun with it. Like, and it's just, it felt awesome. I think the weapons and everything are real tight too, and feel super good. I only have some very minor tweaks I would make to one or two of the guns. Really, I think the slice of the sandbox, the weapon sandbox we've seen so far is excellent.
There is
Really excellent.
one weapon that needs to be almost entirely reworked, in my opinion. The plasma rifle is just not
Oh,
there.
the pulse carbine.
The pulse
Yeah.
carbine, that was the one that every time I picked it up, I was like, damn it, I shouldn't have done that.
Useless in close quarters. Useless if they have any sort of cover. Like that one they need to take
Mhm.
another pass at maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of it, I think the Ravager can maybe do with a bump in damage
Yeah.
as well.
Mhm.
But like,
It-
outside of that,
I think the only reason it felt so off is because everything else felt so right. Like the BR felt good.
mm, oh,
The
oh,
skewer, how did they make the skewer feel that good first pass? Like
Oh
this,
yeah.
all right, I'm gonna say some stuff. The Spartan laser never felt that good. Like I'm just gonna say
no.
it. Like it just, it
Also, I hate the
seems,
Spartan laser because it makes it just completely takes vehicles out of the equation at all. I despise the
Mhm.
Spartan laser.
yeah. That's
Skewer
one thing I
kinda
like
does
about
too.
this. Well, it takes 2 shots on a Warthog. It's not
True,
just like an
true.
instant. So that was something that I really appreciated is
Hmm.
you kinda gotta plan what you're gonna do to a Warthog with it.
Got some great clips of getting some ghosts with the skewer though.
Feels
Yeah.
good. Feels good. Feels right.
Let's get that
And yeah,
hearty
yeah, it's
thunk.
just the sound effect on the skewer is nasty too. When it goes off, yeah, like you fire and you just kind of go, oh, like when you fire because it just feels good. Yeah, I love it. Shout out to Recharge and Livefire, I think, for just being like two of the strongest maps I think I've ever seen in any Halo game, and
Yeah.
Behemoth, and just all
And
of it's
then
great. Bazaar is fine.
it's a great capture the flag or CTF map.
Bazaar's great, capture the flag map.
It's
Oh
good
yeah,
pace on it.
let's talk about the new modes.
Okay.
Total control
Mhm.
specific in
Yeah.
particular. We'll talk about the big team battle version of it in a minute, but even just
Yep.
the arena version. Ooh, what a fantastic twist on the usual like domination type modes that we see in like Call of Duty and Control in Destiny and that sort of thing, to where your points don't go up when you get kills and control zones. Your points go up as long as you control majority zones, which
Mhm.
is brilliant design, I think.
Mhm.
Because one, there's something always happening. I felt like control game types in other ones can kind of go on for a while if you're just kind of like doing this back and forth, but that makes it feel fast and always something moving. But also, I mean, it's like it doesn't require you to be insane at getting kills or anything either. Like you can set up strategies for people to still to just go cap zones without having to completely frag out, and that's really cool too. I love that mode. It's my favorite one.
And basing it purely off of like points and like making the teams get the majority of the zones like really drives the combat into the zone. So like you're always, I had heard you mention this before, but it always feels like you're in the action. And I feel like in Control specifically, that is one of the things that's like always driving the action. No matter how empty a zone looks, you're on recharge, you're going for that one that's across from batteries. You get there
Right.
and 3 dudes come around that corner. It's like, nobody was here.
Yeah,
There's
what
somebody always
happened?
up top of B.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh
Always
yeah,
somebody coming out of that corridor.
absolutely. It also, I think, allows for some really great comeback moments too. We played
Yeah.
a few matches where they're like, they're at
Mhm.
195. We managed to grab C. We have A and C. Let's just hold it. All we have to do is hold these. Don't go get B. Just hold these sites
Yep.
and that sort of
Yep.
thing. And so it's like you're not, if you miss out in the first like few minutes of it, you're not immediately dwarfed for the rest of the game. There's still always the potential that you could bring it back, and I like that a lot. It feels more like a proper tug of war.
Mhm.
Yes, Alec
So
from the
one
Waypoint.com press pool.
so my thing with that is it playing with the full squad just made that mode so much better because then you can
Mhm.
always have like the communication aspect of just like
Mhm.
how I remember that first Friday night or even that first session Saturday. We were just learning the call outs of each map.
Mhm.
like
And making up
learning
our
that.
own too. I think this is
Yeah.
Whirlpool now. Like, yeah.
But then like even later just playing on those maps, it's like even though it was Slayer, we were still calling it out like, oh, they're by B. Like
Yeah.
you just get to know those points so well.
Mhm.
Like you almost don't need call outs just because it's like, oh yeah, they're by B.
What is the zone in recharge that I keep miscalling? It's gonna be pit forever. Like that's what it has to be called. It's
Like
the
right
launch.
underneath batteries
Yeah.
where the OS spawns. Yeah. I don't know. Pit works. You
That-
say that you immediately know what you're talking about. Like it's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something else I wanted to touch on too. Is just I think in terms of map design, I think weapon and power up placement is a huge proponent of that, and I think it's absolutely perfect the way that they've set all of these maps up with where weapon spawns are. I think the weapon rack idea is genius.
Oh,
Yeah.
Especially because I think what we're going to see in the social playlist is that the weapon racks will not always have the same guns on them. Like the power weapons could be the skewer, could be the sniper, or it's like this could be a battle rifle, it could be a commando, or there's a battle rifle here, commando here, but the next time you play it's two battle rifles or something like that. And that's a cool way to still like manage to keep the same balance by having a lot of the same types of guns but also keep it fresh. And I mean, even just something as different as like having a commando instead of a battle rifle there will have you approach encounters differently because they function differently.
Mhm.
And it's such a genius way of keeping encounters. I mean, I'm going to say this loud, but keeping things fresh and exciting every single time you play. Even though it's like even if you're playing Slayer and you're on live fire the whole time, you'll still play it differently because there's different weapon spawning, and that's so cool.
Yep.
I assume it'll be static weapon placements for competitive modes, which
Mhm.
also because of the way it's designed, it just works that way, and that's awesome. Like
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember seeing a tweet, I think kind of along those same lines that you're talking about, because of the, talking about, Halo Infinite not needing a battle royale, because the thing that battle royales have is the random weapon placement.
Mhm.
Whereas, it's like they'll be in the same spot, yes, but they're not going to be the exact same weapon every time.
Which
So
is
that kind of
Fortnite.
adds that
like,
randomness.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or I think of like Apex's crates
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
The crates don't move, but the weapons do. The weapons will be different, or whatever's in
Yep.
it is different every time you play. And yeah, it's the same kind of it's the same ideology, and I think that's really neat. It's not something we've seen like in an arena style first person shooter yet, and so that's cool. That's really really cool. Sorry, I dropped my ring. Don't mind me. I'm fidgeting. I have all this fidget stuff so I can do things and pay attention while I'm in the middle, and I still just fuck around with my ring all the time. Yeah. Any last thoughts on arena modes before we move to big team?
I guess it kind of leads into big team. No, I'm good. I was just gonna say I like how they have for these smaller maps, taking the grapple shot, for example, you only get 3 shots on like Bazaar, but then you move
Yeah.
over to what is it called? The big team battle one?
Fragmentation.
Yeah,
Fragmentation.
that gives you 5, and like I
Yeah.
didn't notice it gave you 5 until I had shot 3 of them, and then I was like, oh, I still got 2 left. And just because it's a bigger map, and like I feel like they even give you more ammo. It just I don't know.
Yeah.
Constantly.
They do actually give you more ammo in some of the guns too, which is
Oh, yeah.
rad.
I really was a fan of that.
Yeah. It also
Great
I do want to
TikToks coming out of that.
shout that out. It feels like the perfect evolution of the equipment that we see in like Halo 3, where you had like the blue ball that takes away shields or the bubble shield and all of that stuff, but in a much more focused kind of way, if that makes sense. There's usually 1 or 2 on like per map in terms of the 4v4. Like I'm always going to go back to whatever the name of the whirlpool map is.
Recharge.
Thank you. I'm always going to go back to recharge as my example, but I mean, there's just the one grapple hook on the map, and it's right there next to batteries, and that's it. Like that's the one equipment on that map. Or I think Bazaar has one in the middle of it as well.
In the middle,
Livefire
yep.
has repulsors. Just that sort of thing is really really cool, and kind of gives you this. You kind of have to do this thing. Is like, well, okay, match starts. It's like sniper's there. there's camo over here, or I could go over here for the repulsor, and so there's that cool like split like how do I approach this, and then it's like oh I got repulsed, but I killed the guy. Only going to be like another 30 seconds before a new one comes up, and we can fight over that again, and that sort of thing. But bigger maps have more. We see that Behemoth actually has 2 repulsors on either side of the pit underneath the bridges outside where the sniper spawns. But there's also 2 grapple hooks underneath the bridges of each base as well.
Right next to the
Which
needler.
kind of allows you to
Mhm.
allows you to play more. Which shout out to the needler.
Yo.
Yes.
They toned it down from the first flight, and it's still hella powerful, but it sounds better. They adjusted the sound effects of it, and I love it. It sounds more needlery.
It just melts people. I love
God,
it.
it's gross. I love it. It's so good.
You can almost see the look on their face when they're like, "And that was the last one. I'm gonna blow up now." Like that last needle. That's like the straw that breaks the camel's back. You can almost see him like, "All right."
You can see them give up through their helmet.
Yeah.
They're like, that's it.
Yeah.
They're throwing a grenade. They're trying to do something. Like,
That's how
I
you know
love
you got
that.
them when they start throwing grenades at the ground. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna take you with
Just
me.
panic grenade. Yeah.
Which, okay, to kind of talk about something that I maybe don't like, which is not much, to be fair. There's really only 2 things, and there are also kind of one problem, and it stems from not having player collision, which I don't like. There's no player collision at all. It's a weird choice to have, and
Yeah.
and it just maybe add that back in, please. Just because I don't like that. You can have like enemies like kind of like stand in each other, and then suddenly you're spreading your fire between the 2 of them, and I feel like that's going to get abused, and I don't like that. The other thing I don't like is that there's no friendly fire, with the exception of the fusion coil for some reason.
No.
But there's no friendly fire, and what that kind of leads to, it's like, hey, if I throw a grenade and my buddy's there, it's not going to hurt him, which means that people fucking use grenades all the time because it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You can't hurt yourself with them. You can't hurt enemies with them.
Oh, you
And
can't hurt
or
yourself with
you
them?
can't hurt yourself with you can hurt yourself with the electric grenade,
Okay.
but
I did
frags
that
and
a lot.
plasmas don't hurt
Too many
you.
times. Too many times.
Frags and plasmas don't hurt you. The electric one does. The dynamo grenade does. But you're not going to hurt your friends by throwing grenades, except with that dynamo one. But I mean that means people are just chucking grenades left and right, and that gets a little obnoxious after a while. I think I have one clip where I went to go get the skewer on live fire, and it was I just heard tick 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 tick, and I was like, well, that's it. Like, I was like, every grenade just landed on me. Like, it didn't matter. So hopefully, but it's like that's a harder one to adjust, because going free to play means there's going to be a very wide audience that goes, and I think really the cause there is that they're probably a little worried about griefing
Yeah.
in such a public game, which is already kind of a problem in past Halos too. So it's like I can live with it, but I would like to see if they could come up with a solution, maybe to at least ease up on the grenade spam.
The grenade abuse.
Yeah.
Maybe just like
Yeah.
one type rather than being able to hold multiple types.
No, see, I like being able to hold multiple
Yeah.
types, and I like that they limit it to 2.
Yeah.
In most games you can hold 3 or 4.
That's true. Yeah.
But I do like that it's 2, and so if you have like a spike grenade and a frag, and you come up on a plasma spawn, you gotta debate. Is like, well, do I want 2 kinds of stickies, or like how do I want to do this? And so I do actually like that a lot.
Shout out to the key bindings that Al had mentioned earlier, that Alec had mentioned earlier. I didn't know what the key binding was to switch grenades for the longest time. So if I wanted to get those sticky grenades, I just hawk my 2 frags into the air, and there I got my stickies.
That's like Bret telling me he didn't know that you could hold more than one gun.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, my control scheme was like jacked up for some reason, where everything was normal except the button or the weapon swap, and so like.
What did
Yeah,
it end up
weird.
being? That's my question.
I
think I know what it was.
I think it was unassigned. It was just unassigned to my controller.
Oh shit.
So a problem some people had early on, and I think they pushed out like a quick fix to kind and ease up on it, was that there's a mechanic in Halo Infinite, I don't know if you guys know this, you can actually drop your weapon.
Yeah, I did it on accident once.
So you can't yeah, so did Bret. But drop weapon is hold Y on controller, but that's also swap weapon if you tap it. And some people were having problems to where they try and switch weapon, and they would just throw their gun on the ground.
Oh jeez.
And so Bret was like, I
enough.
can only hold one gun. I keep throwing it. And so I think that's what it was, like some weird bug or something with the controller or something like that, We got there eventually, though. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry you had to go through that. we were just playing one match, and he was like, "I wish I could hold more than one gun," and we were like,
I
"What do you
remember.
mean?"
Well, because I would like throw it down and use like my secondary, and then pick it back up and reload.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I love that
it
so
worked.
much.
Just the most He's at the top of the leaderboards. Most John Wick shit. He gets done with the magazine, just chucks the
throws
gun.
the
and
gun.
pulls out.
Throws the gun. Yeah.
What's
Get outta
crazy?
here.
He was still killing it, even tossing away guns every time. It was unbelievable, man. I was like, "What do you mean you've been playing with one gun this whole time and you're still beating me in kills?"
Just looks like he's praying over their dead body once he's finished killing him. He's just picking up his assault rifle again.
It was absolutely amazing. So let's talk about the most recent thing that we've done, which of course the second weekend of the
Yeah,
flight
baby.
preview was a focus all about big team battle, baby. We got one map, we got 3 modes. In Halo Infinite, as opposed to previous games, big team battle consists of 12v12 matches, which means we got an absolutely massive map called Fragmentation that was immaculately designed, I might add. And that was super, super fun. I have lots of things to say on it. I've been talking for a little while. Bret, why don't you tell me your general impressions on Big Team Battle, homie?
I loved it. I said this last night that it felt less chaotic than
Mhm.
previous iterations of Big Team Battle. That was always a mode I typically shied away from, at least in the more recent Halo entries, just because I always felt like just it was too chaotic. I didn't feel like I could control like where I was in the battlefield. But at least from my time playing it yesterday, like yeah, the map itself is just incredibly well designed. Give me some Valhalla vibes a little bit with
Yeah.
the 2 bases. And yeah, just like wide open areas, small dense areas. But yeah, love this iteration of Big Team Battle, and love the 12v12 too. Like that was such an awesome change. And now I just want more maps and more
Yeah, dude.
and more tweaks of game modes for Big Team Battle.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see more of those Big Team maps.
Yeah.
Alec, general impressions on Big Team Battle.
I loved it. Just having like 10 people in a Discord call, like it was just some of the most fun I've ever had in a multiplayer game. Like it was just a blast. And getting everybody to change their skin to the same color was so much fun.
Shout out
dude
to the
in chat.
Cyan Tsunami.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I loved the variants that they had on just the general multiplayer modes. Like Slayer is Slayer, but it's up to 100 rather than 50. And then the variants of like capture the flag of not needing to worry about the flag being away from base to score. That was such a cool implementation. And then also for oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the last one.
Total control.
Total control. Yeah. Like having to capture all of them. And us as the Cyan Tsunami, like a few of us going to each point and just had that blitzkrieg of like within the first 30 seconds just owning all 3 points.
Yeah.
Bro, the wave broke on him, man.
And then they came right back at us that next point.
Yeah. All right, bet.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It literally, like, what was it, that Saturday session in the afternoon? We had one of the best CTF games we've ever had.
Oh yeah.
Where it just felt like it went on because it went to overtime, and then at the last second, was FNH Paul came running in with the flag.
Yeah.
As we're all cowering, defending our own flag. He sprinted across the entire map by himself. And
just
it was just a
lone
blast.
wolf it.
Wow.
As we're all just hearing the commentary of him running, we're all just sitting in our base.
He's like shoutcasting, he's screaming. He's like, "I've got 3 guys on me. I'm running the flag. There's no one nearby." The rest of us are like, "Get in the warthog. We gotta go get him!" Like, incredible, incredible stuff.
Amazing. I loved it.
Chance, what about you, dude?
I had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It never felt like you were too far out of the action. I did like how you were talking about like you have all these options when you spawn. It was Billy, right? Me and Billy the door. I noticed we were taking some of the same routes. So if I saw him going down in the bottom, I call it the castle of the Forerunner structure to get the grab shot or the grapple hook. I'm like, all right, he's getting that. I'm gonna go top left, grab this BR, hop in that mongoose, and just like the way that you're constantly moving. And then it took me. I mentioned this. It took me way too long to realize this is a symmetrical map. Took me way too long. Like I had played maybe 4 or 5 games and like I stopped at the enemy base and I turned around. I was like, huh, huh. This
It's
is like
big.
Valhalla. Yeah, dude, it is massive. And I think the reason I didn't understand that is just because there's so many places for you to go in the sandbox and different ways to move around. It just is so beautiful. And
So also,
like
pro tip for the rest of you guys out there: if you ever find yourself in a match with Billy the Door and you see him pull up in a Warthog, you get in it.
yes,
Yes.
Incredible driver.
A very good driver. I think about like the moments that like me and Bret had where like we both wound up at at the enemy flag somehow, and then Bret pushed me with the ghost all the way back to score. Dude, he was pushing me. We went to the wrong spot, and he still just kept trucking. He was so good at pushing my ass. Like, come on, Chance, we're gonna get you across.
Yeah.
So much fun. And then having Chris jump in with the A team and just get snipes on snipes. That was awesome to watch on that big team. Big team
Oh yeah,
battle.
that was so much fun.
Grappling the
I
Banshee.
I love that. Shout out to Kind of Funny for letting me crash their stream.
I have a real
Grappling the
quick
Banshee,
question.
what an incredible feeling. Yeah, what's up, Brett?
So I've never gotten the Wasp. So
Yeah.
how does the Wasp
Same,
feel?
same.
I did fly the Wasp. I got to fly it once.
Yeah.
And it's way better than the Banshee.
Oh,
It's 10 times better than the Banshee. In fact, that's another like little thing that I would say is that the Banshee feels paper thin. Like
Yeah.
like you're in it and you're out of it because it immediately just gets gunned down. The Wasp is tough. It's got homing missiles against other vehicles, which is really great. They're not as strong as you might expect, but they do light up Spartans, that's for sure. And yeah, real nice chain gun. It's a little slower, so it does make you kind of a bigger target, but it's got heavier armor. I thought it felt really good, honestly, to use. Almost to the point where I was like, damn, they might need to tune this one down a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But I also, though, I don't know that I can. I think I ever had any points where I felt like I was getting bullied by a wasp or anything. I think there's always kind of something that you can can do and take it down. But also, if you're a good pilot, you can keep it alive, you know. So it's fun. I think the wasp was really cool.
Every time I got in a Banshee, it was almost like I would fly as high as I could and then eject out because I knew the fall would kill the Banshee fast, like
Ah,
just as fast as everybody's shooting at me. Like, well, if I
and
can't use it, neither can you.
no fall damage either, so you can just hop out of that thing, no
Yep.
problem.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to the vehicles in Big Team Battle as well, because
Yeah.
they're all super fun. I think the driving is a little loosey goosey. In terms of like
Yeah.
the Mongoose and the Warthog, I think they might need to tighten that up a little bit. But there's
Mongoose
also
is
no
a
better
little bit better than
feeling.
the Warthog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's also no better feeling though than running up to your enemy base. You got the flag. Your buddy pulls up in the Warthog. He's like, "Get the fuck in here!" and you jump in and you're hauling ass for your life. You know, everyone's shooting at you. They can see that their flag is leaving. You're screaming because you don't know if you're gonna make it or not. It's heart pounding every single time. It's something that you guys have already mentioned, but I think Brian Gerard, aka Sketch, one of the 343 devs, put it best in that in Big Team Battle you are always seconds away from action at any given
Mhm.
point in time, but not in a way. I think Brett also put it well, where it doesn't feel chaotic. Like you
Mhm.
never feel like you're totally out of control of what's happening. And I think that's just because of how well designed they made everything. There's weapons everywhere,
Yeah.
all over the map.
The power
There's
weapon
stuff
drops.
everywhere.
Seems like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
those are
The
pretty
way, yeah.
disfinding as you're walking or going through down the paths and all that. Seeing like blinking
Yeah.
green light.
Yeah, the power weapons drop down in canisters like you're on like the Delta Halo and Halo 2, right? Like
Yeah.
and then I mean Pelicans are flying in vehicles like the hype every single time that you hear over the radio like Scorpion tank inbound, your entire team goes, "Oh shit, a tank." Like, you know.
Yep.
And so it's just it's incredible, and I don't say this as a negative, but I think it's like the ultimate like casual experience of Halo. Big Team Battle
Mhm.
pulls out everything that Halo has to offer within one match. They're like, hey, here's a bunch of power weapons. Here's all of our equipment. Here's all of the vehicles. Like now
Mhm.
go play capture the flag or take control of these zones or whatever. And it's just it's crazy how well implemented it is. Much like Brad, I usually don't. I haven't really touched with Big Team Battle too much. It was always kind of that was usually the game I played at LANs, really, because
Mhm.
you'd have like 16 people or whatever because it used to be 8v8, and so yeah, like LAN capture the flag is kind of what you do, but I never felt the need at home while online to really jump into Big Team Battle. Although it was never all that fun, but they absolutely nailed it here. I can see myself playing much more of this, especially with as many people as we had playing
Yeah.
this weekend and it being free to play. It's like we're not going to hurt for people to play with anymore, and that's really cool. And
Mhm.
yeah, I loved everything about it. I really did. I actually put Jeff Steitzer in Big Team Battle. Why is the classic
Yeah.
Halo announcer not there? What
Yeah.
are you
That
thinking?
Mm.
Or
going.
even I know that they have the Spartan chick from the E3 trailer whose name I can't remember. She kind of like
Palmer?
there's some shout cat. No, not Palmer. It's the with the she had like the bumblebee on her armor.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah.
she
Mhm.
has a voiceover in that, and she'll commend you on getting like multi kills and stuff. But it's like, but I need somebody to shout out the
Triple
medals.
kill.
Exactly,
Right. Yeah.
especially because that's the game type too, where you're probably gonna get really high multi kills.
Yeah.
Like if I land a kill tacular,
Mhm.
I need to hear that word. You
Mhm.
know, I got 7 kills in a row. Let me know. Let them know. Like,
Everybody needs to know that I'm hot right now.
exactly. Uh, but yeah, I loved all of it. I think it was really great, and just
Mhm.
there are so many stories that are going to come out of Big Team Battle, especially. There's so many moments that I'm thinking about right now that were just that are not able to be recreated anywhere else but in Halo.
Yep.
You know, and so it's just what an absolutely incredible feeling. I do have a few more categories I want to touch on. So, any final thoughts, words, complaints, whatever on Halo Infinite's Big Team Battle?
I do have a complaint. If I get
Yeah.
kicked, don't ban me. Or if my game crashes, don't ban me. That happened twice within the last like hour and a half of the last flight, and nothing
Oh,
was as
jeez.
frustrating as it's
Well, yeah,
like,
what a wet fart in on too, because we're like, okay, there's only 20 minutes left,
yeah.
and this thing, and Chance is like, I got banned again. Like, no.
I wasn't even being an asshole and leaving games either. My PC just was like, I'm running as fast as I can, and it
I'm
just
giving it
wasn't
all
fast
she's
enough.
got, Captain.
That's what I was looking for. Give me all she's got. That's it. Just please don't ban me if my game crashes.
Yeah, don't ban Chance 343. What are you even doing? Fix your life.
Um, I think they need to buff the radar in Big Team Battle.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
There's a couple times where like I'm killing like two dudes, and then like a red guy comes around the tree right next to him, and I'm like, what? I know
yeah.
because I'm peeping the radar like while I'm fighting. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
like obviously like you want to just be aware. You should be aware of your surroundings, but sometimes you got to rely on
Sometimes
those
you can get
tools.
blindsided pretty easy,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
the radar's actually pretty a hot button issue in the Halo community right now. Um, to where it's in Halo 1, the radar distance was 15 meters, and in every game up to I believe 5 from 2 on, it's been 20 or 25, excuse me, 25. So you get a real big motion sensor in those games. In Infinite, they brought it down to 18 meters, so sort of a middle ground between 1 and the rest of the series, which I really like in Arena.
Hmm.
Don't like it as much in Big Team Battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they could honestly bump it up to the standard like 25 from previous games, and that would be fine. It doesn't
Mhm.
need to be much bigger, but just enough, a little bit more. Give me a
Mhm.
little bit more, because yeah, I definitely had that issue too, to where I kind of got snuck up on a little bit, and I shouldn't have. I was like, why could I see that guy on radar but not that guy? Like that, yeah. It feels
Yeah.
it's something about it feels a little weird.
Yeah, I was thinking about because obviously you don't want it extending the range of it and constantly seeing people move, but
Yeah,
I and I
there's
know
a
it's
middle
not like
ground.
I know it's not a direct comparison, but like with Call of Duty, how they have like ghost perk and stuff where you can
Mhm.
see people from far away, but when they get close, you can't. Like some sort of literal radar where like you see like intervals of scans of them from like a far distance, so like
Yeah.
okay, like there's three people or whatever. Because
Mhm.
yeah, there was just a lot of times where like people would just come out of nowhere, like behind, like I would spawn run to like the middle of the map, and like a guy would be behind me in front of like teammates at our spawn. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, how did this
Yeah, how
guy
do you
like
get
sneak
there and
by
nobody knew?
everybody? Yeah, so
Yeah, or I noticed sometimes too where I'd spawn in base and we'd have enemies like in base and I would never known. I'm just running around like getting
Yep.
the stuff that I want before I head out. Didn't know because they never popped up on radar even though I'm
yeah.
in the base. Like there were a few times where I'm like, okay, they need to figure that out a bit. But
Um,
yeah,
and one more thing, and I don't know if this was an issue for y'all, but for me, uh, spawning in and then seeing the battle rifle on the wall and it not being there and it's like glowing. Like I had no idea how long it was until it came back. I feel like some sort of indicator, or maybe there is.
actually there is.
There. Okay, tell me.
I
So
had a feeling.
So on
Mm.
all of the weapon racks as well as the pads on the thing, there's a light on the weapon rack is on the top of it, and it's a bar that fills up
Oh, okay.
while it's spawning. And so the blue indicator tells you that it's going to respawn, and there's a line there. If you ever come across a weapon rack and it's red, that means it's not at a point where it can start respawning yet. Somebody has it. It's out
Wow.
there.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Dude, that
Mhm.
makes sense. Perfect. Thank you.
And then the pads on the ground where you see like the power weapons and power ups and stuff. It's a circle, but it's the same thing. There's a light in there that's filling up as well, and that will give you an indicator as to how much longer it has to respawn. Mhm.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Yeah, I must have missed that thing because like I was just staring at the
They
blue
haven't
battle
talked about it
rifle.
much,
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I was trying to like see it blinking if that was anything or
right?
whatever. I was like,
Yeah, yeah. If you see it blue, that means it's charging. It'll get
right,
there. And then
did
right.
yeah,
any
if it's red, it's out. It can't be respawned yet. That's
Mm.
usually for power weapons, though.
did anybody else like in their head think like, oh, it's still 3D printing the new one? Like
Yes.
that's what in
Something
my
like
head is.
that.
Let's just 3D
Yeah.
printing it
Yeah.
in that little machine, the rack.
Well, now I'm gonna think that. Yeah, it turns out canon, all Halo weapons are 3D printed. I love that.
It's the year like 2250 or something, right? They got metal 3D printers by this point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
2557, I think,
Okay,
is Halo
way
Infinite.
off, way off.
Because the regular games take place in 2552, like the original trilogy does. There's a few
Mhm.
years in between 3 and 5, or 3 and 4. I don't know how much time is between 4 and 5, or 5 and Infinite though.
I hope a
2550s.
long time so we don't see
The
Locke anywhere near this campaign.
the late 2550s is when this game takes place.
Yeah.
Uh, anything else y'all want to touch on?
Yeah, the loot caves.
Okay,
So
yeah.
something we haven't mentioned
Yes.
about how cool is just you have to hack with your AI, which I want to talk about AIs, sometime. I don't know
Mm.
if you have that in your okay, cool.
I don't, but we'll
Um
do it. That's up next. Let's do it.
um but just hack into it, and then what, like 30 seconds later you have to stay within a certain area of the loot cave as your AI hacks it, and then there's what, like usually a weapon, some
There's
grenades, and then
usually Yeah, there's always 2 grenades, a
like
power weapon. There's usually like a stronger kind of weapon on the backside of
yep,
that rack, and then one of like the big power ups, like camo or overshield.
yep. And it's
Yeah,
just
and
always
there's
nice
one on
because you
each
get
side of the
that.
map too.
hmm
Mhm.
So it's just something that we haven't touched on yet. That
Yeah, really really cool idea, and I like that it's not also. And when they initially announced that, I was like, oh, but I mean, people are just gonna open that right at the beginning of the match, and then it'll be done. It respawns. It comes back every 5
Mhm.
minutes, I think.
Mhm.
Which is cool. So you get an opportunity, like 2 or 3 opportunities per game to try and get in there. And I found it actually mostly useful in Slayer, as
yeah,
and a
Yeah.
little bit in Capture the Flag as well. Because total control really requires you like we got to get to this point immediately, and so it's kind of a gamble to be like I'm going to go like guard the loot cave for a few minutes, because it takes some time to get into, and so it's a
Yeah.
cool, neat little.
But there were
Do we
a few
do we go
times.
do we go see if there's a rocket launcher in there, or do we go cap
Mhm.
a point?
Well, there were a few times where zones were right by the loot cave, so you could guard it as you're unlocking it.
Yeah.
True. Big strat right there too. Yeah. Just cool idea. I hope we see more of those on other maps too.
Yeah,
Mm.
and then like expanding on what those loot caves could be with different weapons
Mhm.
or different upgrades or whatever. Like, it's a really cool idea to throw that into the existing like kind of game types.
What's cool is even the weapons inside each cave change every time that you get into it as well. Like sometimes it was a sniper, sometimes it's a rocket launcher, sometimes it's a hammer. But that was also like within the same round,
Mhm.
too,
Oh
which
shit.
is
Okay.
cool. Yeah. So it's but I mean you're always gonna get something cool every time you go in there, which is awesome. Sometimes they'll have like overshield and a grapple hook at the end of it or something like that.
And then
Just
you're just a
real
wrecking ball.
real cool stuff. Yeah, it's a dude. There's one time I went in there. It was a hammer, an overshield, and a grapple hook, and I was like, I'm gonna kill some people, baby. Let's go.
Call me Miley Cyrus. Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was just whoo. Um, Alrighty then. I got a couple little more things that I want to touch on before we take off. Which is I want to hear your favorite map. Doesn't have to be arena or big team battle. What is your favorite map in the tech preview? Just whoever wants to speak first.
Oh, in this preview?
Yes.
I was like running through the list in my head of like
Not in
every
Halo, sorry. In Infinite. And then we played over the last 2 weekends. Sorry.
I mean, for me, it has to be Recharge. Like, it was such
Yeah.
a great map. Whether it be Slayer or Total Control.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to go Fragmentation and Live Fire for me. Those two,
Ooh.
I was having real good
Live
games on
Fire's
Live
great,
Fire.
yeah.
Close third is Behemoth. Behemoth is going to go underrated. I can't remember the map from Halo 2, but it was a similar. It was kind of a similar thing where there was a forerunner structure and it was on like an island out in the middle of the water.
Yeah, it was one base instead of two.
Yeah,
what
reminds me
you're talking
of
about.
that, and I really liked that map.
It looks just like it. Like but I mean, new.
Yeah, and deserty, but I really there's a lot of just fun with those two skewers or two power weapons like positioned from across from each other. The amount of times I sniped and then was sniped, or like vice versa, at that, like going to pick up the weapon, beautiful.
I love that race on Behemoth where it's like you could see them they're taking the man cannon over to that sniper. I'm going to this one. I see him scoping in on me like who's gonna hit each other first.
Yeah. You see the red. Oh shit!
Like, oh fuck, he sees me. Yeah.
What about you, Bret?
Brett? You got a favorite map?
Yeah, I'm looking at the maps here, and I'm like, there's not a map I dislike from this list. So I love them all. I gotta go Fragmentation though, like Chance, like um, that map design along with the modes, like it just meshed so well together that yeah, I could see myself playing Big Team Battle like pretty consistently at launch. So I'm excited to play more and yeah, just playing the ability to play with so many friends at the same
Yeah.
time. Like I think that's why it takes it over the top. But like all the maps uh Alec and Chance listed already were like the arena style maps, like they're gonna be great for competitive, so I can't wait to like
Oh yeah.
get sweaty with those. So yeah.
Yeah. The arena ones in particular are definitely like made with competitive play in mind, while also still being really, really good.
Mhm.
Like to just jump in and fuck around in, which is really, really great. It's
Yeah.
again just impeccable design in all of these maps. I don't know if I can pick one outright favorite, if I'm honest with you. I have favorites for different modes,
Mhm.
and it's kind of where I'm at. In arena, I think Bizarre is my favorite for capture the flag.
Okay.
I think capture the flag is best when played on symmetrical maps.
Mhm.
I take it back. Behemoth was the best for capture the flag. There's nothing better than
Yeah.
playing CTF with vehicles. There really isn't.
Yeah.
And it's small enough to
map, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one Warthog, there's one Ghost, there's a couple mongoose.
But
Monkeys.
the vehicle's never too far away that you feel like you're doomed. Like if you like
Yeah.
the vehicle takes off around the outside, like you can charge through the center of that and maybe catch them.
Mhm.
And then it also, I mean, that map loads you up with dynamo grenades and skewers and everything. So it's like even though it's a smaller map with some pretty strong vehicles. You still have tools to deal with them, which is really, really cool. Shout out to that one time this dude tried to drive me off the map and I grappled back up.
Yeah.
I've never felt cooler in my entire life. So I gotta go Behemoth for CTF. For Total Control, I mean Recharge. Hands down Recharge. That map feels like it was made for Recharge, and
Yeah.
it's just the way it flows. Fuck it, I might call Recharge my favorite map. Everything about that map is incredible, and I just love being in it. I just love being in it. It's so
Like,
much
it's
fun.
always just
The weapon
constantly
placement's
running
perfect.
around.
Yeah. You hit this cool loop, and it's like that's I think I'm a little biased though, because Recharge was actually one of the first they ever showed back when they just put out like some concept art for the game.
Gotcha.
And so that's always just kind of what I've had in my head as far as like infinite multiplayer. And then I've watched a bunch of videos of just like pro players like breaking down like how they approach like different areas of Recharge in particular, and I adapted that into my own play style too. And so I've got a real soft spot for Recharge. I really like that one. But if I'm playing Slayer, put me on Live Fire, man.
Yeah.
Live Fire feels
Yeah.
damn good for Slayer. You got a sniper right in the middle. It's either skewer or sniper right in the middle that people are immediately going to fight over. But there's BR over here. There's overshield over there, though. I could go this way, grab the BR and repulsor. Oh, here comes the whole team swinging around. Like, it's just, ooh, it's so good. It's so good.
Or grabbing the commando and going to get the plasma grenades.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. It's just, I really like Live Fire a lot. And so on a similar note, then, of the weapons available in the Infinite preview, what would you say was your favorite one to use? It can be an old one, it can be a new one.
Ooh.
I think I gotta go Needler. Like, that thing just
Okay.
felt so good. And then,
Yeah,
as
baby.
far as a new weapon, I should say, I don't know if the Commando's a new weapon, but
It is indeed.
I
Made for Infinite.
I loved using that. As soon as I struggled to use it at first, but then you said, kind of feather the trigger, because you can just hold it down and auto. It's an automatic weapon, but using it almost as a single shot or a burst like makes it so much better.
Learning to feather it turns it into a precision weapon. Like, legitimately, if you can hold it, you can. I think it takes 4 rounds to pop shield, so you can pull that in one, and then feather it for the one shot for the headshot. Beautiful.
Yeah, I love the Commando because, to me, the DMR and the battle rifle almost felt too similar ever since Reach, honestly. But now with the Commando kind of filling in that DMR spot, maybe the DMR is going to be in the regular game.
I honestly hope it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the way that they've kind of positioned everything else to like pick up what that weapon was offering. Sorry.
I think the BR fills the DMR's role, and I don't think they're going to. At the very least, if they put the DMR in, you'll never see the DMR and the BR on the same map together. Like, I think it'll be one or the other.
Yep.
Yeah, and so now that Commando fills that like mid-range role, but it could still do long range to some extent. And so I just love how they tuned that and changed that up.
Requires a little skill to do long range, but I like that. I like that you kind of got to work for it a bit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I'll keep going then. My favorite gun, like Alec already said it, but like I said this last night, like the Needler, like I would never pick it up in any Halo multiplayer game. And in the flight, I was like kind of like looking for it sometimes. Like, hey, where's the Needler? Like it just felt so good, and maybe they'll nerf it. Who knows? But
it actually already got a little nerf, like since the first flight.
Yeah. So like I just go ahead.
I'll say Bazaar had the perfect placement for that. Right before you hit mid, that open area. Pick up the Needler.
Right in front of Doris.
Let's go.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it feels confident now, which I love. And then I gotta include the battle rifle still. Like, it's the tried and true weapon, so always gotta pick that up when you can see it.
BR Halo needs.
Only BR Halo needs, baby.
Yeah.
Only BR Halo needs.
I don't know.
James, did you get around to one? I'm losing my mind. Did you already say it?
I did not. I have I definitely picked up the Needler more in this last weekend than I think I have for the last 3 games in multiplayer. But the BR is definitely my favorite weapon, with the caveat of the AR as my secondary, and then the grapple shot. That was like what I was trying to get every big team battle. Like before I leave the base, if I can grab a grapple shot and I can grab the BR, I'm going on a kill streak. And that
100%.
that is just like I've already found my loadout, and it stings to me. I love it so much. The AR I feel like does not get enough credit. I know it's going to get nerfed, but just it needs a little bit more balloon. But what you're able to do with that thing at the range that it's supposed to be appropriately accurate at, just like it's so good. I was
It's
never an assault rifle guy until this game.
it's the best AR that we've seen since Halo 5's AR got its long range nerf. I mean, it shreds up close. It has its damage cone is still a little too
Too
narrow.
small.
I
Yeah.
think because you can. I was surprised at the distance that I could kill people with the AR at, and I was like, I hope they pull that back a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's great for what it is, which is a mid to close range weapon. And I mean, I'm with you. I've never really liked the assault rifle personally, and I used it a ton in Infinite. Like it feels good to use. It sounds great. It looks good. Like it's a really solid weapon. I gotta echo the same thing as you guys with the Needler as well. Similar to Bret and Chance. Like I never pick up Needler in multiplayer, and use it all the time in Infinite. It feels good. It's awesome. I remember after the first flight, I was really shocked at how much I liked the Needler, and I just kind of echo that statement throughout all of Halo's Infinite's sandbox in general, to where I used every weapon that was in there, and I found something to like about all of them, including the pulse carbine, believe it or not. Um,
Better
to
man
where
than me.
I'm really impressed with everything. I think they've even though it's not we still haven't seen all of the weapons yet. They've managed to find like a good niche for everything. Like everything feels like it has its role and works really well. And I never felt like that anything was like wildly overpowered or anything like that. Like it felt really awesome. If I had to pick a favorite, it's harder to use in this game, but the S7 sniper will always have my heart, like forever. And it's like I had to do some training with some bots to really get it dialed in. But it clicked for me, man, and I love the sniper in this game now, dude. I finally managed to work out the kinks, and it definitely takes a little getting used to, because hitboxes are so tight and movement is so fast. And but ooh, it's nasty. Even if you're just like putting one in the body and then switching to the pistol or the BR to cap off the headshot. Which shout out to the sidekick as well.
I
I
was
really
just
like
gonna
the
say the same thing. Yeah.
That's one of the most fun pistols I've held since like Reach.
Yeah.
Legit, just
Like
the
it just
assault
feels good to
rifle
use.
and the pistol. Like you can just go out like that and still
Yeah,
get a bunch
you
of kills.
you can still make it happen off the rip, which is really awesome. And then I do have to, if I had to pick one that was king, battle rifle, and it's not even close. It's like you guys have said, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I said this on my stream a few times, but people have done some comparisons, and the fire rate is exactly at the speed that it fires at in Halo 3, which is one of my favorite battle rifles there as well. But it's unlike Halo 3, it's actually a much tighter burst spread in this. I believe it's hit scan in this game, which is rad.
Yeah.
And it just feels good. It's mean. It's just the moment every time I saw a battle rifle, I picked it up. I didn't care what other guns I had, like absolutely every single time. And so I love it.
Just mumble the rifleman's creed as you go to take the BR out of
Absolutely.
the rack for the 800.
There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Yeah. It was 3D printed on that wall right there.
Awesome. All right. Go ahead and give me your closing thoughts, and we're gonna do this in a similar way. Just one last like general impression, and then what's a little something
AI.
you'd like to see in the future? Oh yeah,
AIs.
I'm so sorry, Alec. Hold on that. Let's talk about the AI for a second. Alec, take it away.
Bret is amazing. Luma's a
We
close
love
second.
Bret.
Oh, Luma all day. Maximum velocity achieved. Like when you're grapple hooking and she's like, "Get airborne." Oh, it's so good.
Fly,
I
you
will
beautiful
say-
warrior.
Yeah.
Because I played with Fret a majority of last weekend and pretty much all this weekend, and I heard a line on Saturday evening before I jumped in with everybody that it literally just made me burst out laughing, because I was using the Needler and I got a kill with it, and just under his breath he's just like, "I had nightmares about this thing."
It's so good.
Is that the green guy? Is that the green one?
You can change the
You can change the
colors of them.
color, yeah.
I think he was.
He was the
far
pyramid.
right.
He was the
Yeah,
pyramid.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I picked. Yeah.
So shout out to Fred, who is by far and away my favorite one. He's voiced by the guy who voiced Prompto in Final Fantasy 15. If you played that, I believe
wow.
he also voiced like some incarnation of Peter Parker in an animated series as well.
Oh, yeah.
So of course I immediately attached on. I was like, yes, put Spider-Man in my head. But I love the personalities that they've developed for these AIs as well. After playing with them for a couple hours, you learn that Fred, who I played the majority of, I played Fred and then a little bit of Lumu. But Fred has a distaste for close combat. And it's
Pick up
and
the
like
shotgun. He
every
has a great line.
every time you pick up the sniper, he goes, "Oh, thank God, a long distance weapon."
Or when you get a vehicle, a getaway.
Brad, I've heard him say a few times when I get in a like a mongoose or something, he's like, "Let's get the hell out of here!" Like,
Yeah.
scream at you. My favorite line that he had was when I got this like this one swing double kill with the gravity hammer, and he goes, "Great job, Spart." Okay, I'm really sick. It's so funny because then you flip it around, and I played with Lumo a lot, who's bloodthirsty.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now your
It's
reign of terror
awesome.
begins.
It's
you pick up the
so
rocket
good.
launcher. She gets real horny for that rocket launcher.
She does. For the
There's
rocket
a reason
launcher,
they call
and
it the
then-
spanker.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah, man. Luma's got some really, really great lines. Also voiced by Erika Ishii, who voices Eris Morn in Destiny as well. And so that's really, really cool.
That's what made me
well.
change
I like her
it.
a lot.
I gotta have Eris in my head. Let's see.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And yeah, she's hysterical. My favorite line of her is if you get I've only ever heard it when I would get sniper kills. I'm sure there's others. But where she'll be like, initiating boastful laughter. Ha! It's so great. There's that, and every now and then if you get like a really nice kill, she'll be like, condolence postcard sent to victim's family.
That's great.
It's so great. I love the AIs.
They
I
talk
love
so
the
much
AIs.
shit.
I love the AIs. I hate the Spartan chatter. I turned all that off.
Oh, same.
I think I turned it down low enough that I can't hear it because every once in a while I'd see like the subtitles on the bottom of my screen. I'm like, I didn't hear nobody say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I turned subtitles off and I turned Spartan chatter off because there's like 6 lines, and it's like I get what they're trying to do.
Over
It
yonder.
just I'll miss the over yonder meme, but also I won't. You can
You
only
already
hear that.
experienced it.
You can only hear that 8 times a game, so many times. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so rewind for a second and go back to final thoughts. I want to hear. Give me a 1 sentence final impression, and then also maybe what's a little something you'd like to see in the next flight, which they have kind of hinted at doing probably one more before launch. Chance, why don't you start us off?
I guess the last thing I want to touch on is I haven't like at no point, and I don't mean to talk crap, but at no point during Modern Warfare and the Black Ops run did I ever get this in a multiplayer game. Like, yeah, it was fun. It wasn't 10 people just having the best time of their lives in the same game, playing on the same team fun. And just like getting my short list of like all these people I played with over the last weekend and be like, these are all, I had fun with literally everybody. There was not one person I didn't have a good time with. And I think I'm such a hard person to please. The game just has to be good if that's the case, right? And the one thing I would like to see them do is I hope that they have the next flight early enough to where it can be an open beta, even if it's like they do a similar thing where it's 2 weekends. Let's just like for the sake of conversation that they do that. The second weekend have it be open. Anybody that will download the game can play. Really get that hype going, but I want it to be early enough that like we get hungry like this again. And so when the game drops, I don't want it to be the weekend.
Put a little space in between release. Yeah.
Make me hungry again. Let's
Like a
get
month.
hungry, have a family barbecue, and eat some good food come December 8th.
First weekend of November. That's what I want.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think it's the 6th and the 13th was my.
I like that idea. Give us like 2-3 weeks before the game comes out to starve me a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Step on
Let's
me a
go on
little
a
bit.
fast.
You know what I'm saying? Let me want it. Make me
Come
want
on,
it.
mommy.
Oh, no. I was gonna tag a bunch of 343 people in this when we posted it. Maybe I won't now.
Yeah, I'm calling mommy to their face. I'm calling daddy too if they like it.
There's a skull in Master Chief Collection. I would have been your daddy. Um, Alec, final thoughts and maybe one thing you'd like to see.
I mean, for pretty much my first like Halo online experience, I freaking loved it. Like, it was, appointment gameplay time. Like, whenever those flights started to kick off, dropped everything I was doing, get to the computer and jump online, open Discord, say like, hey, who's on? Just see those Steam notifications just pop up. It's like, okay, send you an invite.
That was such a big thing over like the last one of the big team battle as well, where I'd open up Discord, I would just put in my gaming channel, I was like, I'm getting on. And then people would appear.
Yeah. That was my favorite. Whenever I'd see people were getting you especially like, all right, I'm getting on. Who's coming? Like the call went out. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's go play some Halo.
We got Splitgate to tie us over. Anyway, the thing I would like to have them see is maybe see if custom games, so you could just get you couldn't do big team battle, but do 4v4 custom games.
Absolutely, that would be sick. Unlimited grapple shot.
Yo, you're speaking my language right now,
dude. Oh my gosh.
Only grapple shots and melee.
Yeah,
Spider-Man, let's go.
Grapple shot and swords.
Yeah. I like where you're going with it, baby. I like where you're going with it. Bret, what about you, man? Final thoughts, something you'd like to see?
Yeah, I think this is a great foundation for the future of Halo and this game specifically. Yeah, I think it's been so long since Halo 5 came out, like 6 years. Like that's literally a generation.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
2015. It's been 6 years since Halo 5 came out. So like, and you can already tell with the beta, like it feels like a breath of fresh air. It feels like a return of Halo, and I it's just so happy to see that. I think one thing I'd like to see if they do another flight is custom games like Alec already mentioned. And then I don't think it would happen just from a logistics reason, but I would love to see what they're planning to do with Firefight, because I know that's not at launch, right? That's still a ways out, but just to see what new stuff they'll bring to the table for that mode, because playing ODST today, I was remembering how awesome Firefight was when that game came out, because that was so new back then. And I always love a good horde mode, wave-based defense mode, so anything they can do to mix that up, make it fresh again, would be really cool.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'd love to see what they do outside of just the regular PvP. That'd be interesting. I imagine we probably wouldn't see that until probably next year.
Yeah,
but I'm cool with that. Like I'm fine. Let me have my time in PvP and then decide what the next thing is, whether it's battle royale, whether it's firefight, whatever it is. Like I'm down for that.
They do, because it's not all coming at launch. They do have a perfect opportunity to like make kind of like what you just said with, hey, PvP, like let's focus on this, and then Firefight comes out and they can really be like, hey, check this out now, like, and really like market it in a great way, and even do flights maybe for specific modes when the game's already out. So
which they do for Master Chief Collection.
Yeah,
right.
You can flight seasons before they come out and check out the new content there, which I did with a couple of the seasons in MCC, and that's always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I do have final thoughts and something you'd like to see, but I'm gonna, much like 343, in between the next flight and the game, Daddy's gonna make you wait for it. So what we put out the call. We asked you, the viewers of youtube.com/Waypoint Podcast, what your thoughts were on the Halo Infinite tech preview flight. A lot of words. And I'd like to read off some of these impressions. So from one, Paul Despawn, he said, I would have been more happy if they just left the servers up. I had so much fun in Big Team Battle, it would easily keep me going until December. Honestly, they wouldn't have to change a single thing. I would play that over and over again forever.
And that's honestly something we kept mentioning, like, on the
just leave it on
when we're playing. Well, not even that, but just like, this game is so good now, and this is an early build. Like,
Yeah, Forbes even put out an article. They were like, they could release it now and it would be a mega hit. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Let's see. We got one Phil J. Woodward. Shout out. As someone who didn't get to play, got to watch clips. It was amazing to see and hear so many people having a blast with Halo again. From web slinging around the map to hammering warthogs, everything looked so much fun, and it was. I'm sorry you couldn't play it, Phil, but it really was.
So the TikToks that I've seen of people just swinging around the maps is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. The movement in Halo in Infinite is like nothing I've ever seen. It's awesome. Juan Carlos Nerdade Rodriguez, who played a lot with us over the last couple weekends.
did.
And that was one of the most fun times I've had in modern online gaming. Yeah, hard agree. You don't get experiences like this anywhere else.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of people that played with us, Aaron Roots 427 said it was the most fun I've ever had playing Halo. Getting dubs with all the cool kids and just being a goofy is a highlight for sure. Hashtag Cyan Tsunami.
Cyan
The
Tsunami.
wave, baby, the wave. We had Andrew Follick write in saying the weapon trainings are really helpful for getting better at shooting and aiming, and it showed me just how bad I am at multiplayer. Shout out to the Academy, for real.
Yeah.
Weapon drills are great. Being able to dial it in against bots is fun. I use that myself to get to learn the sniper a bit better, and it paid off.
Mhm.
I'm
just to
legitimately
warm up a
impressed with
little.
how well their bots are. Yeah, I actually did that too. I would drop in with the bots for a few minutes just to get my hands going before jumping online. It's beautiful. I love it. What an
Mhm.
amazing choice.
Mhm.
And then the last community comment is actually not from the community at all. It's from one of our own, Sir Some Other Josh, who
Oh
says,
my
didn't play it, but it's not Call of Duty, and that's good enough for me.
Ah.
God. Says the guy who has
Amen.
Warzone installed on his Xbox Series S. So, I don't know.
Hypocrisies
Damn,
over
called
here.
out, bro.
Yeah.
Called
I
out.
don't know, dude.
I do have one thing. One
Yes, sir.
thing. Last year, when we saw Halo and everybody was all mad, they said Halo has to innovate. Halo has to do this. Halo has to do that. They did it. Like to what they have modernized Halo. They have drummed up interest where there was none. Like this time last year, did not care. I was gonna play Halo for the campaign, wasn't gonna touch the multiplayer. They have done it. Everybody who boobs about servers not being right, they have done everything in their power to make this go perfect on launch day. I don't know what else y'all want. Play this game.
It's so good.
It's so
It's
good.
on
You can
Game
play it
Pass
anywhere.
too.
Game Pass.
Yeah, it's
Game Pass.
free for all
Yeah,
intents
you
and
literally
purposes.
don't have
$1.
to.
$1. Or no, free.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's true. Yeah, it's just free. Don't even need Game Pass.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because that leads perfectly into my closing thoughts here, which is just that, yeah, it's cool to see Halo so in the forefront of the gaming mind again, where I think it should be and has been missing for a very long time, and the resounding call I've seen across the internet is that Halo is back, and that just makes me feel warm inside, man. This is
Cold chills.
one of my absolute favorite video games ever made, and yeah, I remember hearing that from all corners of the internet as well. It's like Halo's got to do something different. They got to change it. They got to innovate and those sorts of things. And what's crazy is that they innovated by looking at what made Halo good to begin with and said, how do we bring this into 2021?
Yep.
Like how do we make it feel fresh and new while also at the same time make it feel old? There's so many people that I've seen everybody like this reminds me of like playing Halo 3 until 2 in the morning, like every single day, like taking off of school to do all this. It's that same feeling as when we were a teenager and had nothing else going on and we just played Halo 3 all night. That's what this game is. It's an incredible work of art. And playing, I've been lucky enough to be included in both flights, so I've played three weekends of it now, and all they have to do to stick the landing is nail the campaign. Even if it's just a good campaign, not even a great one. If it's just a good campaign, this would be the best Halo in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel, and having played so much of it now, I've played almost 60 hours of it total now already. It's already where it is now, one of the best feeling Halo games out of all of them, and it's wild to say that. We haven't even seen the whole thing.
No.
It's crazy. I'm so impressed. 3 for 3.
It's already
You
in my-
done good.
I was just gonna say it's already in my game of the year list before it even came out because of these flights.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They nailed the campaign. It's game of the year, no question. Not even close. You know, like I'm so blown away at how much fun it is, and that's my final thoughts, baby. Thank you guys so much for watching. We always appreciate you here. If you feel like it, drop a like, drop a comment. If you played it, we'd still love to hear what you thought about it. Comments are down below. You can follow all of us on Twitter and all of that other bullshit.
I have
See
one
you.
request for comments. Oh my god.
No, go. Yeah. No, what is it? No, hold on.
Tell us what you played on. Was it mouse and keyboard or was it gamepad? I need
Yes.
to know how few of us there are on mouse and keyboard.
Or was it an abomination of controller and mouse?
There's one man who does that. Sorry.
Shout out to Tim Geddes and the war crime that he plays Halo Infinite on. The affront to mankind. The sin of God that he plays Halo Infinite on. If you don't know, you're better off.
Yeah, don't look
Don't
at
ask.
it.
They are.
Oh my goodness. This has been the Waypoint Halo Infinite preview roundup impressions, whatever. I don't know what we're going to call this yet. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. We'll see you soon.